How's it going, everybody? Hope we're all doing alright today. Back with a brand new video, and for today's video we'll be talking about Bigfoot, of course, because we love talking about Bigfoot on this channel. We're going to focus today predominantly on forms of physical communication that Bigfoots around the world seem to exhibit. So things like wood knocks, whoops, whistles, and the very interesting samurai chatter. So that sounds like something that you would like to learn more about. Please stick around. I tell you what, guys, we're finally, I think, getting to that point in the year now where it is starting to mild up, like, drastically. What are we on? 22nd, 21st of Feb, something like that. And just climbing up a very steep ridge right here. Don't want to slip and fall. That will make a great outtake, though. Yeah, it's really starting to mild up. I've noticed it the last few days. As you can see, I've opted for my light regatta jacket today. It's just too warm to wear my big army coat. As much as I love that coat, it's nice to see the back of it, to say the truth, because I'm ready for summer now. Yeah, spring and summer by far are my favourite seasons of the year. Pretty much from 10 degrees onwards, no matter what the weather, I'm always in shorts, and I'll be glad to see the back of wearing long pants because I'm more comfortable in shorts. So yeah, but yeah, we're definitely heading towards spring now. Like I say, it's milding up, and the other day when me and my dad were out, we saw lots of newborn lambs in the farm fields. So that's always a sign that spring is on the way. Daffodils are starting to open as well. So yeah, keep going. You have to take my word for it, but it smells like someone's got a fire going, actually. I hope there is nobody at my den, otherwise I will not be best pleased. Got up to my den. Thankfully there was nobody here, because I would have been very, very cross if there was. But someone has definitely been here, which is very strange. Right in the middle of my fire pit. I forgot when I came up last to do some meditation. I left my sage up here, which that bundle you can see there right in the middle of the fire pit. And it's definitely been burned since, I can tell. Because I didn't char it down that much. So, yeah. Someone has definitely been here. So then, auditory Bigfoot communication. What do we know? What do we think we know? This is something that is reported all across the world, all the countries and nations and cultures that have their own version of this creature all report hearing loud whoops in the night, very primate-esque, hearing loud noises of things being banged against trees, of rocks being clacked together, almost like they're being clapped, whistles, and I mentioned in the intro something called samurai chatter, which we'll talk about in a little bit. That seems to be, as far as we can all tell, those of us who are interested in this subject, some kind of language which is very, very exciting and interesting that the Bigfoots seem to have. So let's go through them all one by one. So quite possibly the most well-known of the Bigfoot vocalizations, I think, are the tree knocks, which we've talked about them before on this channel. The idea is that when there's a group of Bigfoot in an area and some idiot like me is coming and trying to find them, what they'll do to sort of evade being spotted by a human, almost like guerrilla tactics, really, not as in the animals and the rainforest soldiers. They'll kind of split up and stay in touch with each other by taking like a log or a branch or something, or even just their bare fist, and hammering it as hard as they can against a solid tree. And it's kind of like Morse code. That's the theory anyway. And again, many people have heard this from all over the world. I personally I've lost count how many times I've heard wood knocks up in this forest, up in this woodland, down in Whitton Park, and then, you know, a couple of the woodlands that I've been exploring around here. And I have noted before, it seems to happen for some reason around dawn. I don't know why. That's just the most, me personally, when I've come up here sometimes to watch the sun come up, almost without fail, you'll hear, it's not even that loud really, it's quite, you know, like you have to really listen carefully, which is a hard thing for me to do, because I don't hear it well. And then there's been a couple of times where I've been up here when it's going dark, doing a vigil or whatever, and I've always heard, well, it's happened twice now, where I've heard a wood knock to my left-hand side in these rhodey bushes. So, I don't know, very strange. I'm going to demonstrate now how a wood knock works. I tend to find that you want like a really solid tree, like this conifer. They seem to be the ones that work best for this kind of thing. And then, again, in terms of something to, you know, like hit against the tree, I've managed to source myself a nice big log. So yeah, put the camera down now and I'll show you what I mean. See, them last few ones there, with that reverberation, that's kind of what you want to go for. Now, see, me personally, I don't really bother with wood knocks anymore. I used to be, you know, like when I first got into this. And, you know, I assume a lot of people are the same. Because when you first get into this, and you're discovering all this new information about Bigfoot, it's very exciting, and you want to try it all. So, you know, if I heard wood knocks, I used to wood knock back, see if I could get a response. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. But I personally am of kind of the belief that it's kind of messing with the Bigfoot if you're replying to the wood knocks or you're enticing them to wood knock. I really think if you hear one, just take note of it, acknowledge that you heard it, and just kind of leave it at that, because obviously we don't really know what a wood knock really means. If, you know, we're going down the flesh and blood route, if it's a, you know, a part of their behavioural repertoire as an animal, it could indicate, you know, mating behaviour. It could be some sort of territorial marker for a dominant male. You know, so that is really the last thing that you want as a meagre, weak human, to entice a Bigfoot to want to, you know, potentially either attack you or even worse. So, moving on from wood knocks, the next thing I want to talk about are whoops, which seem to be some sort of auditory behaviour exhibited by Bigfoot type creatures worldwide. And like I said before, you know, thousands of people have reported hearing these strange noises from the woodlands day and night, you know, sort of remote areas or even country parks like this. Yeah, when the first time I ever went camping on the Graham Road, me and my friend Luke, And if you're watching this, dude, you'll remember this. It was probably about 10:30 at night, maybe. You know, we were just kind of getting ready to settle down, and we were unwinding from our day. And where our campsite was, there was a steep ravine, really big ravine. And on the other side of it was this pine forest. And for a good hour or so, we were listening to noises coming from that woodland. And, you know, sounded an awful lot like what people describe to be a Bigfoot whoop. So I'm going to demonstrate a Bigfoot call for you right now, a whoop. So yeah, hang on to your seats, and you might want to turn the volume down on your telly for this next bit. So I've just demonstrated it for you there, and yeah, the ones that I've listened to on the internet, again, if you YouTube Bigfoot whoops, you're in for a treat, because there's loads of these that have been recorded from around the world. Yeah, they tend to vary a lot in their, like pitch and like frequency and tone and sound. And again, I'm not a auditory linguist or anything like that. I'm not claiming to be knowledgeable on anything like that. There's people who are far more intelligent than I am that have either confirmed that these noises have been made by something that is alive, or it is, a hoax, and it's been done on someone's, computer. But what I do have, obviously, I've said it many, many times, I've got my background with animals, and a lot of these whoops that I've listened to on the internet, they sound a lot like, primates that are known for their auditory calling. Howler monkeys, they're very well known for a very deep guttural based call that they make out across, valleys in the rainforest where they come from, to keep in touch with their own kind. Gorillas, when they charge, when they are showing their strength, the big silverback, they will, it's a roar, it's not a scream, it's a roar. And that, for me, has always been one very interesting thing. Why it's always hard for me to shift myself out of the flesh and blood theory about Bigfoot, that it is some kind of primate, because the whoops, they're too similar to what the great apes already do from around the world for it not to be considered a possibility that the two are related. Again, same as the wood knocks, I tend now, if I ever hear anything, I ignore it. Well, I don't ignore it, I just make note that I have heard of it, and just kind of catalogue it in my brain. Whereas when I first got into this, I used to come in these woods at night time and I do loads of whoops and stuff. And realistically, when you think about it, if there is a Bigfoot type creature in the same woodland as you, it's likely going to be keeping an eye on you. It's going to be shadowing you, and we'd never notice because our senses are too, they're too numb now to nature, especially at night time. So if you're going around screaming and whooping, you might get a response. You never know. One of the things that is quite a popular theory amongst the community is that sometimes, it probably has happened as well as this, you can be out doing wood knocks and whoops. There might be another Bigfooter in the same wood as you, calling back to you. So all you're doing is just whooping at each other. So yeah, personal experience hearing whoops. I've heard a lot of different noises in the last 4 years that sound a heck of a lot like a Bigfoot whoop. It could be a Bigfoot whoop or it could be something else, I don't know. I remember the first time I ever went wild camping with my mate Luke, and if you're watching the studio, you'll remember this because it scared us both. Where we were wild camping, we were right on the edge of this really steep ravine that opened into a big valley. But on the other side of the ravine was this great big pine forest, and it was about 10:30 at night, and we were just getting ready to sort of settle down, you know, like unwind from our day, and we heard for a good hour long wailing screams, is the best way I'm going to put it. And again, like I say, it went on for about a good hour, and they were loud as well. So yeah, I don't know. That was quite a strange situation. So the next one that I wanted to talk about, next form of communication for Bigfoot, is it's an interesting one. Something called samurai chatter, or samurai talk, and it's believed that Bigfoots, again, not really that much of a surprise or a stretch of the imagination to assume that if they are sort of, you know, very, very closely related to us and are a type of human, that they would have some sort of language. And that's what it is believed to be. Bigfoots talking to each other. And again, there are some intelligent animals that, again, it's theorised, it's believed, that do have languages. That, of course, being whales and dolphins. They speak, they make vocalisations through clicks and chirps and things like that. And it's even believed that orcas, killer whales, which aren't actually whales by the way, they're a type of dolphin, that where they're sort of distributed on the west coast of America all the way up into Canada, that depending on where they come from, they have different accents, if you like. The clicks and the chirps that they make vary ever so slightly. Like, you know, you might have a pot of orcas up in like Canada, and they'll sound a little bit different to the ones that are, you know, in Californian waters. So yeah, very interesting is that. Again, very similar to wood knock and whoop recordings. There's some recordings of what is believed to be samurai chatter, of Bigfoots talking to each other, and they're on YouTube. You know, you only have to search for it. There maybe isn't quite as many as the whoops, but they are there, and they're interesting to say the least. I believe, again, I don't know the names of these people, but I believe that, you know, auditory linguists and, you know, dialect experts have listened to these recordings, scrutinised them over and over again, and some people believe that it is a genuine language. It is something that is talking in a very, very primitive speech pattern, and it's weird what it sounds like to the untrained eye, or I should say the untrained ear. He just sounds like gibberish. He just sounds like absolute nonsense, really, like toddler speak. But there's some really clever breakdown videos out there showing you, breaking it down bit by bit, to try and decipher if there is any, you know, words in there that we can understand. Yeah, and again, it varies in its pitch and volume and tone and sound and things like that, but it sounds a little bit like this. And then there's some other, like, lighter ones that sound a bit like things like that, and those ones in particular sound very, very similar to chimpanzee vocalizations. So yeah, another very interesting capability that it seems that Bigfoots have. One last thing I wanted to talk about today before we wrap it up are whistles, which are exactly what they sound like. Bigfoot's whistling. It's believed to be very, very similar to the wood knocks, that they use it as a form of covert communication, to stay in touch with one another when they're trying to evade being seen by people. And yeah, again, lots and lots of recordings of these have been made. Thousands upon thousands of witnesses who claim to have experienced this phenomenon. I personally have heard one very particular whistle, which I'll share with you now when we get to it. And then some people believe that they mimic bird whistles, bird calls and things like that, which again, I would have thought that's entirely out of the realm of possibility, because with us as people, if you're what they call a true twitcher, which is called for someone who enjoys bird watching as a hobby, you can mimic quite a lot of different bird calls yourself. So if we can do it, and Bigfoots are very similar to us, then who's to say that they can't do it as well? Alright, so basically where I am right now, very, very close to home, about 10 minutes away from where I live. This is like right on the edge of Whitton Park. And to cut a very long story short, it was February 2018 when this happened. My friend was coming back from Blackpool on the train, and we were gonna have a couple of drinks and chill out and have a catch up. So I said, I'll meet you at the train station, but I thought I'd come in here for a little short walk to kill some time. So bear in mind, it was about 5 o'clock, start of February, it's pitch black in here, and I didn't even have like a torch with me or anything. I probably just had the light on my phone. I was walking up this pathway here, and I was on the phone to him, just chatting away, and right about here, right in the middle of the floor, I can make out this really dark blob, and I approached it, knelt down, and it was a jackdaw. It looked like it was breathing its last. It was sat in like a crunched up position like that. Didn't try and fly off or anything like that. I thought, that's really weird, is that? And then as I stood up, about here, this bush of roadies, I heard a crystal clear whistle, like just like that, and my head just shot like that to the side. I was like, what the hell is that? And obviously it put the fear of God in me. Told me mate, and he was like, well, stay, try and record it. And I was too spooked at this point. I was like, see you later, I'm out of here. But as you can see, this is a really thick area of rhodie bushes and bramble. Proper pain, man. People keep walking past as I'm recording. Loads of people out today. But yeah, this is really thick bramble and rhododendron leaves and bushes. I highly doubt that there was someone sat in there on a cold February night waiting for the odd chance that someone like myself would walk past so that they could whistle at them and spook them out. Just seems like a bit too much of a jump for me, does that, for a human to do something like that. So what was it? That's the question. My personal theory is that I'd accidentally stumbled across a Bigfoot type creature trying to catch its supper, and maybe because I didn't have a torch on me and I was walking quietly, it might not have realised that I was there until it was too late, and it quickly dove off into the bushes just before it could finish off catch its supper. I don't know, but it was very, very strange, I have to admit that. And as I say, it was a crystal clear, perfect whistle, and it might have done it just to kind of frighten me off, maybe, ward me off, send me on my way, and it certainly worked. So I think I'm gonna now wrap it up there for today. So I'm literally almost back to the main road. yeah, but it's been a great day. It's been lovely being out with it being so mild. Hopefully, you know, this is the sign of things to come, and the weather is going to progressively get more and more milder as we head into spring, and then we can get back out camping then. So yeah, but if you've enjoyed this video, made it through to the end, as always, you're an absolute saint. If you have any thoughts yourself on your forms of Bigfoot communication, I would love to know. I'd be very interested to know other people's opinions on them. What do you think I heard that night when I heard the whistle? Excuse me. Yeah, and leave a like if you want, subscribe if you haven't, share it on your social media. Always appreciate that, and I'll see you all further on down the road. Bye bye.